Okay. Okay, so our next challenge here, we're trying to get, so this tube should pivot inside of this, so the whole back of the tractor can, articulate to a certain extent when you're going down the road or whatever. So what we're trying to do, and that's, of course, is currently stuck. So we got this flange loosened up, and it won't come back any farther than that because it's machined. It's machined, but only that far. We can't slide it back any farther than that. We sprayed penetrating oil in there and took out the grease cup, sprayed some penetrating oil in there. I don't know if we'll be able to see inside there. It's too dark, but inside of there, we sprayed. I'm just trying to, we just come up with a game plan. What I think we're going to do, we're going to take off all the sulky part, the seat and everything, and put Dad was just going to go get a sawhorse, tall sawhorse, put under here to support this. We'll leave this on here for now, and we're thinking that'll be our leverage point, try to wiggle that back and forth to get this freed up. But the one thing that we're a little hesitant is that this casting has been broken and fixed in a past life. You can see the weld all along here and all the way down here. And it looks like a good repair. It's not cracked again or anything, so I'm not worried too much about that. But what does concern us is, did they have this all apart when they welded that? Or did they fix it in place? And if they fixed it in place, is there a possibility they penetrated too deep when they welded that and actually welded that to that? So no matter how much we work it, it's welded and it ain't going to come free. So we're going to have to kind of think about that for a little bit. We're going to rush into anything and end up breaking more. If it's just the normal, just rusty, hasn't moved in 100 years stuck, we can work with that. But if it's welded, it's a bigger issue. And one neat thing we noticed here too is that you can see like they took the torch to it and cut a little bit, or to test. What I speculate is what they did is to test, and this is broke, is it cast iron or cast steel? So they cut it a little bit. Okay, it's cast steel, this part is. So then they could easily weld it. I don't know if they actually torch welded it or what, but one way or another it's been welded. So that's where we're at on that. We just about got to wrap it up, call it a day here for today, head back to town, but that's where we're at. Well, it's pretty dark in here. We're going to call it a day, but we did get the sulky all taken off. And the seat taken off. And we're just going to let that stuff soak and work on that another day. Moving the transmission out to my truck by the road. See it up there or not. Beautiful day here in Wisconsin. Sun is shining, snow's melting. There, we got her all on the pallet and loaded up in the back of the truck, ready to go back to North Dakota. Pick up our mess here and go back. So we got the gas cap off. We used our old clamp a broken bench vise to it trick. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Nah, it's too dark to see in there. But you never believe what we found inside the gas tank. We actually found, laying in the bottom, is the knob for that toolbox door, believe it or not. So that's pretty exciting. Surprise! Got the rest of this parts off the tube, maybe. Ta-da! And we got the broken part off the rear. And that's supposed to be like that. Have to get that piece fixed. I took this out, and the hole is towards the rear of the tractor. It's offset, so just making a mental note of how this goes back together. Working on taking apart the pins, these big pins, so we can get them out. Dad's measuring up. We're going to make up a little pressing plate. A plate on the bottom, a couple of big threaded rods, and a plate up above, so we can put a little hydraulic jack on these pins to press them out. We were working on getting this, put a little bit of heat on this pivot point. We got it strapped there and strapped there. Put a little tension on it and heated it up, and we put a grease fitting on there and pumped it full of grease. And it's actually taking some grease now. It's wet on the inside there and it's shooting out the back. So we're just letting it cool off now, being patient, letting the lube do its thing. Okay, so the arm from this side doesn't have a casting number on it. And this one does. I don't know what that is. Something 78 looks like. So just so we know how to put it back together. I think they're the same arm, but just for future reference. Interesting little note. There was a little tiny steel shim behind the hinges on the toolbox door here. Just a little tiny piece. The other one's in the bag here already.